and stuff, but during the prayers itself, we ask you to refrain from photographing any of the prayers, the prayer givers, okay? Yami pe wana ake sintegleska owaya wakatio eta wana wo uspe ukua bena iglus tapcha yone hake wana wo api yusuta bena wichuk uktacha wana elo kahe wachpeluta chonchega ya hipta hot haepo wana wo uspe ukua bena iglus tabena yone hake tibala wicha yupo We will listen to the song that was composed for Sintegleska College back in the beginning days, the beginning decades of Sintegleska College. Now we begin the circle of our ceremony to bring sacredness, add to the sacredness of our ceremony here today. We're honored to have with us the Sintegleska Lakota Warriors. We have the Wild Horse Butte Kogala. We have Legion Post 287 from Mission. Legion Post 295 from Parmalee, the John Grew Legion Post. We also have Post 125 from Rosebud, South Dakota with us here today. Part of the founding philosophy of Sintegleska, our chief spotted tail was to provide an education conducive to our culture and also to learn the ways of the new world that was coming. The song that was composed, it tells our students to take courage in all that they do. We are being a part of a major society, which is a non-Indian society. So we learn these ways in order to survive and be a part of that community. Be contributors in our own way too. The song was composed by Dave White of the Ironwood Singer. The song that belongs to Sintegleska University, the students, the staff, the faculty, administration, and board. Audience, applause for our grand entry. All right. Thank you. Charlie, Spotted-tail. At this time, we'd like to have a blessing of our gathering today. We have conversation with our Creator for every moment of our lives, for everything that takes place. Spirituality is very central to everything that we do. And I know these students, there's a lot of times that are sitting there getting ready for finals or some semester tests, anything. They're saying a special prayer in their own way too. And it's part of us. That's who we are. And that's another part, important part of our way of life that Chief Spotted-tail wanted our people to keep, and our founding fathers, Stanley Redbird Sr. and all those that served with him on the board. And they always encouraged that. There was every board meeting, every little session we had, staff meeting, whatever, we had a big prayer conversation with our grandfather. And today, we will have our prayer led for us. And we ask you all to join, one heart, one mind, as we call upon our brother here, Chief Leonard Crow Dog, to render the Wochikye for our gathering here today. So at this time, please remain standing and pray in your own way too.
Okay. Here you are staying. We took our here sama we got sanita wopila or petukile. Won't spend one katia kile. Woi Transangaluhana Zipohana. Olahan Chantaga Yagalohipi. Niate. Trakoza. Ohena. And all veterans. And all educators. Graduation. Or Petukile. A Kantaka Yota Wakan Yota Wausla. A Petukile, Oheche. Won't spend katia kile walake. O he te wichasa ya bukta, na wiukta ichasa. Won spekile o yakapi, na haska ichasa ob unispe piktero, na o yakach nika piktero eap. O he na petukile hawana, o he chawangu hinas. Chakoza, you hawa unspe pikte. Our grandchildren will be all educated, like our elders have said. A dream, a vision, a thought, a mind for our future. Unborn, hoena, petukile. Oh, wons pakatia, lanel boro, hohe. A petukile, hoeche, lena ursitiake. Janeko hok, hoeche, long time. Ohena, petukile, today. Lena walake. Na ie chake. O e te apetu ki re wāko. Na trakoza iota I chunkilapo. Trakoza. 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 Na mitaki. Na mitaki. Na akichita hoksila. Akichita. O he te trokala. O he na apetu ki re. Na wons poankate ake re wio ki hikte. Istangu yapi, chanteu yapi. Wa tinchi yapi ki he yu ha unspunya kia. Na wola kota tawa ki ampetu ki upo. Ampetu ki upo o heche. Ma koche ki re, glass deo. Na wita ki re wola kota o hi ega nan kaha. Tō ke tukte ki nia walake ki e chaunki tiupo. Chaunki tiupo. Chaunki tiupo. Me tākie, wa kiksamta I tāsanki. Na han trawo a he tui tāsanki. E a ho aro. Me tākie ase. O e te toro, me tākie. Troska.
Ilamaya Palo. Thank you, Chief Leonard Crow Dog. A little translation. You heard Takoja several times. Means our grandchildren. Akichita means the soldiers, sailors, marines, airmen, and the warriors from days of old. Wolakota means our Indian ways, the virtues, the ways of life we were given by our ancestors and our teachings in their walks on Grandmother Earth and the words they shared with us around the campfire in their visits with us. And so this is very important to elaborate on those for our people. No matter one of the sayings was to take the good of the new world mixed with the good of the old world and make a life for yourself. And you've heard the saying of Chief Sitting Bull, let's put our minds together and come up with something, a better world for our children. And so we encompass all of those in that prayer and a blessing for each and every one of you that's here, especially those that are seeking education. Now at this time we'll pay tribute to the red, white, and blue Eagle Feather staff and a direct descendant of Chief Spotted Tail, Mr. Charlie Spotted Tail at this time.
Ladies and gentlemen, our Sioux National Anthem.
Thank you, Mr. Charlie Spotted Tail. Thank you very much. Thank you. A nice round of applause for a rendition of our national anthem. I'd like to invite our stage guests to come up here, President Bordeaux, our guest speaker, Mr. Echo Hawk, and our President Dunn, come up to the stage before we get ready to present our honor guards. Yupa. And our chairman of the Board of Regents, Russell, come up here. For our non-Indian friends, I'd like to share with you the words of that song is, Grandfather, I treasure this flag, and that is why I do what I do. This flag will fly over the people as they grow on this land. This flag was presented to our people through treaty meetings back in the 1800s, 1700s. And we have some tribes that still have the original flags, unable to unfurl them because of the wear of age. But we also say that we won these flags in the battles, the Indian wars. Our ancestors picked them up as gifts for the victors of those battles. So we pay tribute to those. We also have the Eagle Feather staff, which is the flag of our common people, made up the backbone of a red willow, a chokecherry tree, graced with the fur of our four-legged relatives, and the feathers of our winged relatives. We believe we're all related to every element on Grandmother Earth. And that's a common thought that we have, and it helps us to teach our young people these things. And we always talk about the courage of our soldiers, our warriors in days of old. When a baby was born in the camp, the people celebrated another protector. At the same time, they cried because they knew one day that little boy may die for the safety of that village. So these are very important things that we live with. And so it carries on. I always say the warrior spirit, blood of our grandfathers still flows through our veins. So we have the highest degree of per capita-wise patriotism and participation in all the wars that this country have ever been in. And so that's from World War I up to Operation Enduring Freedom, Iraqi Freedom, Afghanistan. And we have many of our grandfathers who lost their lives, who gave their lives. We have the Philip Stands. We have Chauncey Eagle and Legion Post. That's in memory of the first Lakota soldier to die in World War I. and he wasn't even recognized as a citizen of this country yet. But we serve all up to date. We have Iraq, Afghanistan, Vietnam, Korea veterans here. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and introduce our honor guards. First of all, our sintegleskautube warriors, carrying staff number 1, served in the United States Army in Vietnam, Provost Bill Menard. Carrying the red, white, and blue, United States Marine Corps, served in Vietnam, Anthony Castaway. Carrying the tribal colors, United States Marine Corps, Vietnam, Keith Fielder. Carrying the sintegleskautube warrior colors here, Sheila Black Bear, United States Army, Desert Star. POW MIA colors here, Prisoner of War, Missing in Action colors, United States Marine Corps, Vietnam, Combat Wounded, Nick Leading Fighter. Our rifleman, he served in the United States Army. He's also the commander, served in Grenada, Joe Arroyo. A rifleman has served in the United States Army in Vietnam, Tim Whitebird. Representing the Wild Horse Butte Hokalas, United States Marine Corps, Vietnam, Curtis Leonard. Representing the Chauncey Eaglehorn Legion Post 125 out of Rosebud, served in the United States Marine Corps in Iraq, Dion Reynolds. Carrying the Legion colors, the blue and gold, Gene Ironshaw Jr. He's also marching for his dad. He could no longer stand too long. So his dad served in Korea Army Airborne, and Gene Jr. served in the United States Marine Corps and Desert Persian Gulf era. We also have seated on the west side in a wheelchair a member of Post 295, the John Grew Legion Post out of Parmalee, Dennis Spotted-Tail Sr., another direct descendant of Chief Spotted-Tail. Served in Vietnam. We have, Korean War. He's a life member, he's the 82nd Airborne. And we have over here, serving in DL Quick Bear Legion Post 310, served in Vietnam, Laverne Looking Cloud. Legion Post 310, Vietnam era, Stanley Wooden Knife. So ladies and gentlemen, a nice round of applause for all of our honor guards as we go ahead and excuse them at this time. So, Provost Bill, take charge. When you join the armed forces, you get to boot camp, they make you stand on some yellow footprints and they holler at you like that for 2 weeks. So go ahead, graduates, sit down. There we go. All right. Everybody, go ahead and sit down, everybody. And I have some important news at this time. We're going to go ahead and serve lunch while you're sitting there. Just kidding. We're live on the air on YouTube, so you guys behave yourself. Okay, make sure all your buttons are buttoned. Live on YouTube, and just pencil in Sintegleskautube University, and you'll get it live on the air. So if you're going to call somebody now, go ahead and call them and tell them. This time we're going to have a Wokiksu Aloha. We always dedicate our gatherings to those staff, students, faculty that were part of the university and began their journey to the spirit world. And today, we're going to call some names out. We're going to ask the singer to sing a memorial song for them. But they were all instrumental in making sure the philosophy, the goals and objectives of Sinteglesk University was maintained. And the first one is our good friend, Michael Binge. He was the driver for the students' Garfield Leader Charge. A singer represented and always came as a student and a participant in a lot of activities, Kerwin Eagleman. And just a few short weeks ago, a young lady was a student here that began her journey through a tragic automobile accident, Jordan Hesby. One of our staff people used to be out there taking pictures of everyone, of everything going on, Carol Goodshields. And also Louis Sully, Stacy Henry. So today, our commencement exercise is dedicated to their memory and ask for a moment of silence to remember each and every one of them. And now I have the Rock and K Drum Group to sing in a memorial song for all those names we read off. So let's all stand once again and share our memories of each and every one of them.
Yeah.
Extenderies, I was worried about YouTube because I'm still on a wanted list, 10 most wanted, and the most single Lakota on a reservation, so. But I'm going to ask an honor guard to come back in here. We have a veteran song we wanted to sing for them. They've all been pretty busy lately. We lost some veterans on a reservation, so they've been posting colors and standing vigil at wakes and funeral services, so I know they're all pretty busy, and they just finished one this morning. They're all here. So all you veterans, please come up here. We still have your veteran song to do. I'd like to take care of that for you and make it up to you. We just honor song for you, especially those, the Korean War and Vietnam. We didn't come home to parades or celebrations or anything. So when we're involved in welcoming home our Desert Storm, Desert Shield, Iraq, Afghanistan veterans, we always try to do it up good for them because we try to do for them what was never done for us. So at this time, I'm going to ask the Red Leaf Singers to sing an Akichita Oloa, a song for all of our veterans here. And I apologize for jumping over that in the agenda. Amichik tu Japo. The reason we picked the Red Leaf Singers, the original groups, composed many veteran songs because they were all veterans. They were all veterans of Korea, World War II, World War I, and they composed many songs for honor of our veterans. And they never ever got to dance for their songs that they composed. They were always busy singing for other veterans. That's Vietnam. They're singing about Vietnam was a very terrible war. Many of our Lakota warriors fell in Vietnam. From the Rosebud tribe, Sitango Lakota Yate. We lost Gabriel Tuigo. And we lost Larry Wayne Lapointe. Across the ocean in a place called Vietnam, a terrible war. Okay, thank you. One more round of applause for our veterans here and thank them for the service. And again, you're excused. You guys sounded so good the first time. That's why we had to do that again. Just kidding. All right, just coffee in the commons areas. I think that's it. Myself, go ahead and sit down, graduates. I know you're anxious to get out there and go to work. How many of you got jobs already? Raise your hand. Oh, all right, that's success rate. All right, in a place that has 89% unemployment, you guys are good. Woo! Okay, at this time, I want to turn the microphone over to the president, or the chairman of the Board of Regents at Sinteglesk University. He's an Army veteran, Vietnam era, so please give a kind welcome to Russell Eaglebear, chairperson, SGU Board of Regents.
Oya mitakwe pi dona hipiko hena yuha chante washtana pe chuza pelo hona petukile oya wankatea Sinteglesk University ho wons pe hoki chua pina hole am petuki wanaglustampelo hotra hena wichunglo ne hapiktelo ya dona ya hipiko wotakwe wokola kiche ya hipio hena wopila chicha pelo. First of all, I say a big thank you to all you graduates and bring in your friends and relatives here to honor you for your accomplishment, to being able to graduate from Sinteglesk University. It's really quite an honor today is your day. Today is a special day for you. I know pursuing education can get hard and sometimes it gets frustrating. However, you went through all that and accomplished it, so I'm very, very proud of you. And then I lost my notes. First of all, I'd like to also say a big wopila to our Akichita, our warriors, our Trokala society for bringing you in here in an honorable way, in a good way, and knowing that these warriors fought for us so that we can have that freedom. And today, in 2016, that freedom that we really cherish has been questioned among our own people. We are having a struggle up north on a Standing Rock Reservation to protect our water, to protect our cultural resources, and to protect our treaty area. And we call on our warriors to give us guidance and help. I want to thank my fellow board members who are not present today, but I want to acknowledge, first of all, my Lekshi Webster Tuhawk for being one of our elders and giving us that wisdom that we really need in terms of education. And I want to say a special thank you to one of our other board members, Lekshi Crodog, for being part of the board, for giving us that spiritual guidance that we all need on a daily basis. I really say a big wopila to those two. And we also want to acknowledge one of my kolas, Mike Bolt, who also serves on a tribal council and is a member of the Board of Regents. And we have a good representative from the eastern part of our reservation, Miss Marilyn Marshall, and she has been very active in representing the eastern part of our boundaries. We also have Mr. James Leadercharge as a representative from our Tribal Education Department. I want to say a big wopila for his participation in our SGU education. I want to say a special thank you to your student rep. Your student rep represented you well on this board, and her name is Lorraine Nez. I want you to give her a hand. She really stood up for you students and spoke on your behalf, and a very young, articulate woman, Lakota woman, and Dene. But she is well-spoken, and I really appreciate her representing you. We also had a representative representing the staff, and he's no longer here at SGU, but I want to acknowledge my kola Dwayne Hollowhorn-Bear from the Lakota Studies Department, who really gave us a lot of good insight at our board meetings. A few months ago, he left university, and I understand he's going to continue teaching and educating our young people. When our Lekshi Crow Dog talked about and prayed about our future generation, our Tlakojas coming, I'm glad that my kola Dwayne still has a hand in that, teaching our young ones. I appreciate that. I want to also acknowledge the one that keeps us together, keeps us at meetings, and really goes through a lot of hardship in her own way, and that's our board secretary, Evelyn Whitehawk. We make her drum through hoops, and she might do a hoop dance at Rosebud Fair, so we may have to go see her do that. I want to say that it's been a long year this year. It's been a good year for Sintegleska University. We, as the Board of Regents, have been consistent in our meetings. We are being transparent in our meetings, and we want to make improvements. Even though we've been in existence for many, many years, we still strive to make improvements. We want to see higher student enrollment again. We want to be able to graduate more students again. We want to be on top again at SGU. And we are striving to fulfill that. Last year, this time, two of the staff people, Dr. Robertson, Cheryl Menderes, and myself traveled to Chicago to meet with representatives of that board that have oversight over HLC. And we met with them. We met all afternoon with them, and they had many questions they asked of us. And we did say certain things to them that we're going to fulfill this coming year. As a result, you know, SGU was on probation, and now we're no longer on probation. So that's a good accomplishment right there. And I want to thank the staff and administration and all those people that made that happen. We still need to move forward to improve on. We're getting new buildings again this year built. There's all these things happening, and I really want to thank our president, Lionel Bordeaux, and his staff, his vice presidents, for making it happen. I want to say a special thank you to my kola, Phil Beert, for coming on board and really taking a leadership role in trying to accomplish some of the things that we set out to do. So I thank you. I thank you for all your hard work. And I might want to borrow your hat this weekend at Rosebud Fair. I see our elders here today. I see our young people here today. But I also see people that I know from the past who was part of SGU. I'd like to acknowledge Dr. Cecil Whitehat sitting here in the audience. That man got his doctor's degree, went out and accomplished something. Wopila Chichilo, it's good that you're here today. I also see a colleague of mine from the Tribal Council back in the 80s. He too went and got educated, got his doctor's degree. And so I want to acknowledge Dr. Valandra. Would you please? Wopila. We were young men serving on a tribal council, and that time our tribal president was President Alex Lunderman. And we fought against state jurisdiction. When Aldo Teti Shakawin said, don't go there, you're never going to win. But we took a stance, we won a court ruling, and we have control over our boundaries here in the Rosebud Reservation and made it possible for other tribes. So we had a hand in that, and it's kind of going back memory lane, but it's good that we can stand up and fight for our people and accomplish something that dear to us. Today, as I said earlier, we are still faced with many issues. And you young people that are graduating, you need to continue your education, work hard for your people. We still need you. As I said earlier, there's a struggle up north on the Standing Rock Reservation where they're putting in a major pipeline, oil line. You know, just a few years ago, we did that here on the Rosebud. We fought against the Keystone XL project, which many of you were involved in. And we overcome that with prayer. It's no longer going to come through the boundaries of our reservation, the boundaries of our treaty area, and the boundaries of our Aboriginal area. It's not going to happen. And we're doing the same struggle up north now. I was just up there a few nights ago. We have our Sichangu camp there. And there's over 3,000 people gathering, and more are coming to take steps in protecting what is our homelands. And so I'm really hoping that some of you young people continue your education, get educated, get a law degree. We really need our lawyers out there. We have a few among us, but they can't take on all the challenges of our people. And we really need legal people out there to help us. Always maintaining your connection back to here, your people, and your spirituality, your way of life that you've been taught. We need to have our lawyers, but we also need our spiritual leaders and spiritual guidance so that we can work hand in hand with both and accomplish many things. So I ask you, young people that are graduating, it's been an honor for me. Some of you are getting master's degrees, 4-year degrees, 2-year degrees. Continue that. You know, be doctors, be lawyers. Whatever you choose to do, you know, you can do it. So with that, I thank you. I'm honored to represent Sintegleska University as a chairman of the Board of Regents, and we will still continue what we set out to do. Wopila Tranka, Homitakwe Oyasi.
Thank you, Russell. Excellent, excellent. Hope y'all recorded that. At this time, we have the president of the Rosebud Sioux Tribe on the agenda. I'm not sure if he's here. There's a lot of activities going on today at the fair, at the beginning of the fair. So President Willie Kendall, if you're here, please come forward for a welcoming address, or the Vice Chairman, Scott Herman. Or a representative. If not, I will go ahead and give you the welcome. Welcome. Oh, watch this. Oh, okay, all right. So anyway, let's give them a nice round of applause. They are on the agenda, but they're really busy. There's a lot going on at the fair. So Russell mentioned the figure of 3,000 people. There's about 10,000 people at the fairgrounds right now, 3,000 at the rodeo. So there's a big rodeo going on. So at this time, we'll go ahead and go to the annual President's Address from President Lionel Bordeaux. So let's have a warm welcome for President Bordeaux.
I want to thank all the people who are in attendance here. It's good to see Sichagoyate gathering at some occasion like this here to honor our graduates. It means a lot to them, and it certainly means a lot to the institution. And I want to extend my congratulations to the students. I know that it's been a difficult road for many of you, but you've done well. You've overcome struggles. You've overcome so many things that have been obstacles, but you knew what you wanted to do, and you hung in there, and we thank you. Graduation is a very timely, important moment in our life today. We're at the crossroads of our existence, not only as an institution, but as a tribal nation, and really as the world. There are just so many things that need to be addressed, and your leadership and your intellect is needed. You are important. You're important to who we are as Sichago people. You're important to the institution. You're important to your family, to your Tioshpaye, and you're very important to future generations. You will be the teachers of these younger ones who are coming. We have great plans where we need all of you to come to our discussions, our forums, to address how we can strengthen Sintegleska University, that we can continue to improve and do the things that our founders wanted us to do. We need to strengthen and improve nationhood. The two initiatives need to come together. It's timely that Sintegleska University, our elected leadership, the partnerships that we can have with other institutions, with agencies, with the state, that we all sit down together and talk about our future, especially in terms of who we are and who we want to be. We must define and articulate who we want to be as Sichago people and as an institution of higher learning. It's timely that we need to look at an intellectual review and an analysis of our federal-tribal relation, as well as the state-tribal relations. We need to take a look at all of our policies, all of our legislation, and there are many. And I know that we are in an era of self-determination. And yet, at times, we have a very difficult time with this policy because it always doesn't have the flexibility or the resources that we need to be who we want to be. More often than not, it's really a struggle for survival. In this world here in the United States, they tell us that we're probably the second poorest reservation in the nation. And that shouldn't be, because we have 1 million acres of land. We need to sit down amongst each other and talk as to how we can work with the land. There needs to be prayers and ceremony asking the spirits of the land with all their natural resources, their environment, as to how we can all work together for the betterment of who we are today and who we want to become tomorrow. We need a plan of action, not only locally, regionally, nationally, but also globally, as to how we as the Sichangu Oyate, how we as Sintegleska University can assume our role and responsibility in strengthening all of these areas. There will be discussions, there will be forums continuing throughout the year, and we encourage everybody to take part. We as educators cannot do this alone. Tribal government cannot do it alone. But all of us working together, we can achieve tremendous things here for ourselves and for future generations. And especially you as students. You heard Russell talk about the needs of the future. Every aspect that affects the quality of our life, whether it's culture, education, economic development, tribal government, health, judicial, housing, transportation, energy, technology, all of these affect us on a daily basis. And we need people trained in each and every one of these areas so that we can strengthen each of these areas. Also the social services, working with youth, working with elders, working with families. So there's a big agenda out there that awaits us and calls for all of our environment. And especially you as young people who have the commitment, you have the energy, you have the vision. We need you as trained leaders to come back and to be involved or to continue to create new ventures, new endeavors, so that even things that are not in existence today, you see and you know, and you have the ability to create these. And with that, I want to ask our technicians to show a 6-minute film of something that we've been working with. We don't always have the resources or the capability to provide what needs to be provided to strengthen who we are. We need a national tribal university, and as such, in my discussions with John, we've talked about maybe Haskell being that national tribal university. John said it's easier to expand than it is to start from ground up, and he's right. We need law schools, we need medical schools, we need business schools, we need everything that I talked about affecting the quality of our daily life. And we need our own national tribal university. But in the meantime, we need partnerships, and I'm glad to see Dr. Barry Dunn here from South Dakota State University. They're a land-grant institution, and we're on a path to working with them. Phil Baird is a graduate from there, and we've had discussions with them as to how we can work together. But we need to do this with all of our institutions of higher learning in the state. At some point here this year, we intend to call a meeting here where we are inviting all of the institutions of higher learning in the area to come here and to discuss the future of the Midwest and our needs. We're also going to be bringing the National Indian Education Association here to begin talks about creating a type of a plan of action across Indian country that brings us all together and talks about the different areas that we can all be involved with. But in the meantime, I want to call upon the spirit of late Senator Dan Inouye, who was very instrumental in pushing a national tribal university. And with that, I will ask our people to hit the lights and give your attention to the screen up here.
President Lionel Baudot has asked me to share my thoughts with you on the concept of a university that would serve not only Native America, but perhaps a larger universe of indigenous peoples. My interest in the establishment of such a university has its origins in something that happened when I first assumed the chairmanship of the Senate Committee on Indian Affairs about 14 years ago. It was appropriations time, and we were trying to secure a high level of funding for the tribal colleges, so I asked the committee staff to provide me with some comparisons in the funding that is made available to other colleges. They looked at other federally chartered institutions as a basis of comparison, and we learned, for example, that Harvard University, which is a federally chartered university that serves African Americans, was receiving more than $13,000 per student in federal funding. At that time, the tribally controlled community colleges were receiving less than $1,700 per student, 13,000 versus 1,700. Gallaudet University, a federally chartered university that serves the hearing impaired and deaf students, was receiving about $8,000 per student. I was frankly shocked to learn of these disparities in funding, particularly in the light of the United States trust relationship with Indian nations. After that, I started asking around, why isn't there a university that serves the first citizens of America? Shouldn't there be a university that would address the many educational needs of Indian country? I must say I was a little surprised at some of the reactions my questions elicited. Some people seem very cautious about establishing universities to serve Native America. Perhaps some thought that it might compete with or undermine the tribal colleges whose funding was already meager. But I think that over time, more people in Indian country have revisited the concept of a university and are more receptive to at least discussing the idea. As we learn more about the capacities of our growing technologies, such as distance learning, it makes it possible to consider a university that might begin as a university without walls. That is, all of the tribal colleges, and indeed other universities that have program initiatives that are designed to serve Indian country, could become a part of a university without walls, or put another way, a university without geographic limitations in terms of serving indigenous people. Each could be a component without losing their own unique identities or their funding. Each institution has an important role to play and needs that it is currently serving. I don't think we would want to do anything in any way to jeopardize those important programs and institutions and the Native people they serve. Nor would we want to duplicate what is already being done in Indian country. But we have solid evidence of the critical role that tribal colleges and universities have played in bringing higher education into the lives of Native people who would not otherwise have the means of securing access to higher education opportunities. It seems to me only logical that we would want to build on the strong foundation. Why shouldn't there be a university that has a law school and a medical school and a school of social work where Native people can learn in an environment that is respectful of and sensitive to their cultures and their traditions, their values, and their unique histories? Personally, I think it is time we move these discussions forward. In the coming year, I'm hoping that those who are interested in developing this concept further might come together to work with me and the committee staff in exploring whether to develop a bill that could be introduced in the Congress to establish a university to serve the Native people of this land, the first Americans. Your ancestors gave millions of acres of land to this country, and you and your forebears have served in the armed forces of this nation in numbers far in excess of any other ethnic group on a per capita basis. You have paid your dues. In my view, the least America can do for you is to establish a university that is developed by Native people to serve Native people so that your children and your grandchildren and generations to come might have the educational opportunities that others in this country have enjoyed for so long. Aloha.
Yeah, that's awesome, and that's something that we're going to be working on. And in closing, I'm going to deviate a bit from the agenda. One of our guests who we were going to honor has to leave early, so I'm going to ask Barry Dunn to come up here. But at this time, I want to acknowledge a gentleman that Russell mentioned, and I want to thank Russell for really an excellent talk that he provided the graduates, but also the Oyate. But I'd like for us to give Leonard Crodog a hand. Leonard has done well. He's brought spirituality here, and we love him. Barry, can you come up here, and can you others get his blanket here, and we're going to honor him.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. It's really an honor to be with you today. I personally want to congratulate the graduates that we are honoring and their families and the faculty and staff at Sintegleska. I was a student here many years ago, and I'm very proud of that. My wife taught nursing here many years ago, but I've spent a lot of my life on the Rosebud, and it's really nice to be home today. This is an enormous accomplishment for you as individuals. I certainly understand the hard work and the commitment and the persistence it took to be where you are today. The rewards will benefit you, but they'll also benefit your families, your communities, your tribe, and all of us. Education is one of the most powerful forces in your life, and I encourage you to continue on that lifelong path of learning and education. As I said before, the benefits are numerous, almost too numerous to count, and certainly financial, but also you will be stronger in ways that you can hardly imagine. I pledge on behalf of South Dakota State to work with the leadership of Sintegleska on our mutual goals to improve education in our state and in our nation and here on the Rosebud. And I also would ask the leadership of Sintegleska for your help in making SDSU a better, more responsive university so that we serve the people of the Rosebud and South Dakota in a better and a more appropriate way than we ever have before. So again, congratulations to you. This is a great day in your lives, and the lives of your families, and the lives of all of our communities. So congratulations, and I have a gift for President Bordeaux from South Dakota State.
This young man is an enrolled member of the Sichago Oyate here. He's from the Lamore family. People generally call them Lamros, but in the early days, our people called them Lamores, and he and I are related. But at this time, we want to give a cultural honorary degree to what this man has achieved and what awaits him and lies ahead of him in our working together with South Dakota State University to strengthen both institutions. And with that, enjoy yourself at the fair, in your future, in your schooling, and we love you all, and have a happy day. Pilo yapilo.
Thank you, President Bordeaux. Many of our guests, maybe you know, maybe you don't, but it wasn't too long ago that President Bordeaux was involved in a car accident, and he is a testament to wearing your seat belts. If it wasn't for the seat belts, he might not be here with us today. So I'd like to ask for another round of applause for Dr. Bordeaux and wearing his seat belt that day. And if there's anybody here from the BIA Road Department or Nebraska Highway Department, fix those highways south of St. Francis. Thank you. But now at this time, it's my honor to introduce a young man that was a part of development of Sintegleska University back in the college days. We converted to university, and since then he's gone on to greater and greater and greater things, and eventually we coaxed him to come back here to Sintegleska University. He was, I last introduced him as the interim president of United Tribes Technical College, but today I introduce him as a provost of Sintegleska University. Well, welcome for Dr. Phil Baird. Okay.
Helmi Dr. Pete. Good afternoon. To the graduates, congratulations. You've accomplished quite a feat, and take the opportunity to celebrate, but the journey's not over. And again, echoing the words of the people before me, continue your path. Education's a lifelong learning process, and school's always in session, as I've always said. Behind the graduates, I know there's the parents, the family, the extended family, and the faculty that supported you, and so I think they need to be offered some gratitude. To Chairman Eaglebear and the Board of Regents, to President Bordeaux and the staff, thank you for the confidence in me and bringing me back. I've been back here 6 months, and I've been asked to offer just a few words in terms of the updates of our work. I want to offer, though, before I do that, I want to offer a special welcome to our keynote speaker, John Echohawk. I had the privilege of serving as president of the National Indian Education Association. And during that time, we worked with the Native American Rights Fund to advance tribal education through tribal education codes and tribal education departments. And we worked with John and his staff, particularly Melody McCoy, in trying to advance the agenda for Indian education. And then to President Dunn, again, congratulations. I would have, it's just awesome that one of our own has assumed the presidency at South Dakota State. Spirits guide things. I stand here in front of you as an alumni, and I look back, and there's the new president. When I graduated from South Dakota State, Sintegleska University immediately reached out and asked me to come home and be part of it. So I'm actually making my second journey here with the family of Sintegleska University. I've been here 6 months, and there's a lot of work that we have to pursue. And there's probably 2 tracks that I would just quickly talk about. They already alluded to the Higher Learning Commission and the issue of accreditation. And we're on a good path right now, but it's intense. It's really intense. You have any number of, forces that are dictating not only higher education, but education across the country. And we've come together at administration meetings, and we keep on saying, why is this happening? Where's it coming from? And it's not coming from one president, one organization, but we're part of this accreditation process, and we have a site visit coming up next April. And toward that end, from the last visit, there were some checklist of things that we needed to do to strengthen the institution. And so I come in behind Paul Robertson, my predecessor, to continue the work, but it isn't by ourselves, it's a team effort. In particularly, and the faculty probably are tired of hearing the A-word assessment, but we have to show her the real deal in terms of an ongoing assessment process. And so we've begun some activities here, or continued activities, to look at our programs, to see where we've been, where we're at today, and where we have to go tomorrow. The world's changing. The world is literally changing under our feet, the sand's shifting. And so we had to go through a program review process that allows us, again, to get a target in terms of where we're going and where we're going to take our students, our learners, on their journey. It's a complex world out there, and yet there's some things that define us as an institution. We're behind the Sintegleskautube, and that's our mission, to preserve and protect our land base, to preserve and protect our language and our culture. Sometimes these folks from the accreditation don't understand that. And we're doing a lot of things, and if I could just point to one thing that we have to be stronger with, it's the evidence, it's the documentation of our work. We are doing some really good things, folks. We are really doing some phenomenal things, but it can't just be the oral history. And there's where the tension is between, as Lakota people and then as Western European culture, we're oral. We tell the stories. Over here, though, they said you got to prove it. You got to write it down. So the things that we're doing, we're going to have to document and do a better job of laying it out. So when people come and want to know how we're doing it, how we're making progress, we have the evidence that's there. Unfortunately, some of the trees, our relatives will have to, for the paperwork, but we also have technology, and we can process the evidence digitally, so that when they come here and visit us next April, we will show that we are the real deal in terms of an institution of higher education. So we got a lot of work to do. We're going to have a final report done by December, 1st of January. We're going to ask some relatives, fellow educators, to come in, do a mock visit around February. The site visit will happen April 24th, 25th. The findings will be processed in a report. We'll go back and forth in terms of exchanging our responses to that report. And in November, of 2017, HLC will meet, and I guarantee it, 99%, they will say we're back on the accreditation track. And that's what we look forward to. At the same time, you heard President Bordeaux talk about other issues, other challenges, other areas that we have to develop. The unique thing between, or the historic thing about President Dunn being here is he represents an 1862 land-grant institution. St. Teglescoat University is in 1994. And so what that means is Congress has validated our role in rebuilding Indian nations. We've been working with the human resource side, now we're working with land resources. And I know there's been some people that said, why are we raising buffalo? Why are we having the horse ranch? Why are we involved with these different things? Well, it's our culture, it's who we are. The United Nations define nations in part by having a parent language and culture and a land base. And as you heard Chairman Eagleweir talk about, we are at a crossroads, and I guarantee you, this is not Facebook drama. We are at a crossroads what's happening up north. The Dakota Access Pipeline is at the crux of major events that could happen. It's not just about oil. It's about treaties, which are backed by the Constitution of the United States, but it's about the human experience of life and water. 80% of your physical being is water. You cannot have life without water. We have the last untapped reservoir of clean water in the Missouri River. If we let that go, do I dare say that everyone else needs water? It could be the next Civil War. I kid you not, it could be the next Civil War up here in this part of the country. So as we talk about our relatives and tribal and non-tribal friends defending the front line, that's what the water is all about, and we need leadership. Some of the things that we're doing here is we want to revive the Sichango Policy Institute that will begin looking at these issues and helping you and your relatives and the citizens of the Rosebud to better understand the things that we're talking about. We have the Institute of Tribal Lands and Economic Development activated under Sean Bordeaux to begin looking at how we can bring business, small business, and economic development together. We've been having active discussions in workforce development to try to get businesses going to create jobs. And quite frankly, we're going to have to, through the university, create some of those jobs and create those pathways. We've been already doing the outreach, and again, those that are going to follow you have to be on a path of understanding and being strengthened with what we're talking about as these issues. In terms of natural resources, we want to partner up with SDSU and other organizations to model how we can cultivate our almost million-acre land base. And again, with the undercurrent of water and political issues, we have to prepare ourselves. There'll be a new administration come January, and we have to prepare ourselves politically. And as you heard Senator Inouye talk about the faith and the confidence that they have in Indian country being able to advance the nations. There's only 37 tribal college universities in the country. There's over 560 federally recognized tribes. St. Teglescoat University is one of the premier tribal colleges, certainly one of the older institutions of higher education, and we are the model. And other tribes are reaching out and asking us to help. And so again, we can't do these things by ourselves. We need you as graduates, you as future leaders, actually you're leaders right now, to step up and be part of this effort and to respond to the needs of our people and those that are outside the reservation that are asking us for help. So we're on a really good path right now. It's busy. I'm very confident here, having been here 6 months now, that we're on an intense road, but we will get the work done and we will be successful. There'll probably be a little stress along the way, a little trauma, but we'll walk away stronger. We'll walk away stronger. But when it's all said and done, it isn't about ourselves, it's about you as students and it's about the children, the grandchildren, and those yet to come. You're on a good journey. Congratulations again. And again, we invite you to join us, step up, be part of the team, and let's work together to strengthen the future of the Sichangu Oyate. Pilamilo, thank you.
Thank you, Provost Philbert. Thank you very much. At this time, it gives me a great pleasure to introduce one of our inspirations here. We mentioned we need, with all the situations going on, especially with the pipeline thing, many mentions about having some quality lawyers in the Indian country. We have a gentleman that's been involved in it for many, many years, and him and his family are involved in that field. It gives us a great honor as an inspiration to all of you, as an example of what can be, and we are fully an inspiration to all of you. I'd like to introduce from the Native American Rights Fund. You always see the initials NARF here and there in a lot of national issues. Native American Rights Fund, and he's the executive director. Please welcome John Echohawk.
Good afternoon. I'm very honored to be here this afternoon at this graduation, and I want to begin by congratulating all of you for your accomplishment here today. It's the best thing that you can do for yourself and for your family and for your tribe. Congratulations again. I'm here at the invitation of my friend Lionel Bordeaux. Lionel and I have known each other for a long, long time, part of the same generation, the first generation of Native American people with higher education. We watched Lionel's accomplishments and brought him on our board of directors, which is composed of Native leaders from across the country, to advise us on the most important Indian legal issues that we should be addressing in our legal representation. And Lionel served on our board from 1989 to 1994 when he was term limited. In 2010, just 6 years ago, the Native American Rights Fund held its 40th anniversary event, and we were very pleased to have among the attendees our former board member, Lionel Bordeaux. And Lionel asked me to be here today to share with you the message that we shared there at our 40th anniversary. In talking about the Native American Rights Fund after 40 years at that time, we had to put our work in context. And that context is what Native people have had to do during our generation, just the same as Native people have had to deal with these issues of first contact since 1492. This is the generation that Lionel and I have been in, and that the Native American Rights Fund has been involved in. During those 500 years plus, of course, we all know that this contact resulted in treaties, recognition after hundreds of years of conflict, that our people are nations, we are tribal nations. And this truth is contained in the founding document of this country, the United States Constitution, that recognizes our tribal sovereignty. We've been dealt with through treaties then as sovereign nations. But then a generation that was around in 1871 had to deal with a Congress that decided not to deal with our people anymore through treaties. The treaties were still in effect, but from now on they said, we'll just deal with you all through the laws of the United States. So we had a generation that had to deal with that. And then a generation that had to deal with the allotment era that began in 1887. And of course that changed things for many, many tribes across the country that were allotted. And we're still dealing today with the after effects of that. We had a generation in 1934 that dealt with the advent of the Indian Reorganization Act and the restoration, the recognition, the re-recognition of tribal governments. This came just 10 years after the Indian Citizenship Act, where our people for the first time in this country became known as United States citizens. Our generations of Indian people in the past had to deal with these big changes. My generation, I grew up in the 50s, and that was, if you know your Indian history, that was the termination era. So much for tribal governments, so much for treaties. We're going to ignore them, we're going to terminate all the tribes, there's not going to be any tribes anymore. We're going to take all your land, we're going to send you to the cities, and it's just a matter of time until your tribe is terminated. So I grew up understanding that we had no future. We were powerless against the United States government termination policy. Then I went to school in the 1960s, into college and university, and that was the time of the civil rights movement, when there was a big reawakening in this country to a basic truth. This country is supposed to be about equality and treating everybody equal. Well, there were a lot of people who were not being treated equal, and they led the civil rights movement to make this basic American tenet, equality, a reality for everybody. And when they asked our people about that, you want your civil rights? We said, no, we want our treaty rights. That's who we are. And you have to stop this termination policy. So we got to work doing that. And it resulted in the recognition of Indian self-determination, which began in the 1970s. All this was through the activism, like we're seeing up at the Dakota Access Pipeline, where our people stood up and demanded our treaty rights. And it led to this change in federal policy. And then the implementations had to begin. The Native American Rights Fund played a key part in that, because treaties are legal instruments that have to be enforced in court by lawyers, but we didn't have any lawyers. We were all poor. We all know lawyers cost money. We didn't have any money. We didn't have any lawyers. So again, we took another lead from what happened during the civil rights movement. We saw all these black people, Mexican American people bringing forward these civil rights cases. How'd they do that? Who were their lawyers? They were lawyers from nonprofit organizations formed to raise money and represent these people in these big civil rights cases. So we said, that's what we need to do. So we organized a nonprofit called the Native American Rights Fund. We went out to these same places and raised money and hired lawyers and started making them available to our people all around Indian country in the most important cases that existed out there, led by this National Native Board of Directors, people like Lionel, who helped us find those most important issues, those most important cases. And they started with the protection of our tribal sovereignty, our treaty rights, our right to self-government, protecting our homelands, our lands, our water, our hunting and fishing rights, our cultural rights, our human rights, our access to our own religions, forcing the government to live up to its trust responsibilities, holding the government accountable, and finally educating this whole country about Indian law and policy. Most people are ignorant about who we are legally and politically. So we've been doing that now for 46 years. And it's helped to change the face of Indian country and the face of America. This legal revolution, bringing forward our rights as Indian people. Among those things we did at that time, as President Bordeaux referenced, was to work on Indian education. And we worked as legal counsel for the American Indian Higher Education Consortium. And that's where we started working with Lionel back in those days. And I remember in one particular meeting, the leaders like Lionel thinking about, we should have our own colleges. They were dreaming, visioning, and guess what happened? It happened. Here's one right here, one of the leading examples. And this is what came out of those opportunities that we had during our generation. We also, as Lionel referenced, started working on tribal education codes, getting tribes to use their sovereignty to improve the education of their children on the reservations, and cooperative arrangements with states and public school districts. And now this is a common feature of Indian education and education policy nationally. It was just encompassed in the recent law that the Congress passed, the Every Student Success Act, that recognizes the key role of tribal governments and tribal education departments in the education of our children in public schools on Indian reservations. These are some of the challenges that we met during our generation. And now you're the generation that has to pick up the challenges that are to come for our people. And you're going to be the leaders in addressing those issues. Of course, one of those coming up right away is, of course, the new election, and what's the new administration going to be bringing forward that's going to impact our people, and how are we going to deal with that? You all are going to be right in the middle of helping us figure that out and deal with that and lead us forward on the challenges that that presents to us. A major challenge that we have, this country has, and the world has, is climate change. I think this is the biggest challenge that this generation is going to face, and what's at stake, as been said many times here this afternoon already, is the future of our children, grandchildren, and all future generations are going to depend upon what you do now with this climate change issue. What's happening up Dakota Access Pipeline, that is a climate change issue. As we move forward in working on these issues, and as you move forward in taking the lead on this, you're going to have to recognize the globalization that's impacting all of us, including tribes. This globalization is something that we can deal with through international devices like the Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples, that our indigenous people worked on here in this country for 40 years until the United Nations in 2007 passed the Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples that recognizes our sovereignty as a human right. We're entitled to have this recognition. Our people here and indigenous peoples all around the world. And it recognizes our unique cultures and values and needs. And now we need future generations to pick that up and utilize that in nations, states all around the world, including this country that still does not adhere to all of the goals and aspirations of the Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People. We are on the verge in terms of the next step in the implementation of that declaration, hearing from the United Nations in their meeting, the General Assembly in New York City next month. The issue before the United Nations: how are our tribal nations and indigenous nations all around the world going to be allowed to participate in the United Nations? They've committed to allow us to participate. Now the question is, how are we going to do that? And they're going to be telling us that after they've heard all indigenous nations around the world comment on that and make recommendations. Now the United Nations will proclaim how that's going to happen. And that's going to be a very significant milestone for all of us. It'll be up to this generation to implement. And as I was telling Chief Crow Dog earlier, it's a very good start. I'm sure we're going to be pleased with having some role at the United Nations, but it's probably not going to be sufficient, so there will be more work needed by your generation and future generations to make that even better, where we have a role in world affairs and we are listened to as indigenous nations. So you have many challenges as graduates today, and I'm sure you're up to the task, just as Lionel and I's generation was up to the task that we did. We did the best we could, and I think we helped to bring our people during our lifetime, during our generation, a long way. And I know that you graduates today, putting your minds to it, can address these challenges and more. And I wish you well and wish you good luck in doing that. And once again, I congratulate you today on your tremendous achievement. Keep it up. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Very well spoken here. At this time, we're getting down to where we're awarding the degrees at this time. So all of you that shifting your feet around and moving this way and that way, it's getting to be that time. Okay, for your use, for your convenience, we're going to be, the media department is going to take a picture of you when you get your diploma. Stop about that second square there before you cross the pipestone and take a picture. You stop there for a few moments. The media will take a picture of you, and these will be on the internet in about a week. You can download them for your personal use, okay? And again, you're on YouTube live, so some of this will get streamed to the funniest home videos of America, so please don't trick while you're walking across the stage, all right? Or you become a major star. So at this time, we'll get the chair of the Board of Regents and the president and the provost and our royalty for Sintegleska University. We'll do the presentations, and the graduates, you will come across over here. And please don't trip again, all right? And Cheryl Madrid, she's our Vice President of Academic Affairs, will be doing the presentations of the diplomas, and I will read your names off, okay? If I make any mistakes on your names, please forgive me. All right? Thank you. And now the end is near. Just kidding. All right, here we go. First of all, I'd like to have the Masters of Education all stand at this time, okay? All stand, and I will introduce you, and you can come across here one by one. First of all, receive a Master's of Education, Education Administration, preschool through 8 elementary principal, Willard Buckman Jr., Wilbert Buckman Jr. All right. Family members, you could go ahead and traipse up and take pictures right up to the first row of the chairs, but you'll take more pictures when we have the welcoming line too at the end. So don't crowd around our media department over there. All right, next one is Educational Administration, Masters of Education, Emily Cameron. Emily. You're receiving a buckskin diploma and a paper diploma and also a eagle feather and a plume as a part of your graduation diploma process here. So please don't drop the feather or the plume. And your sponsor at the end will tie that feather and plume on for you. Our next one is Early Childhood Education, Special Education, Masters of Education, Kimberly Means. Okay, I'm sorry, Kearns. Okay, Kimberly Kearns. I'm sorry. I said, oh, I apologize. Our next graduate, Masters of Arts Human Services in School Counseling is Robin Burritt, and I believe she's not here, a family member to accept for her. So let's give her a round of applause for to acknowledge it publicly. Also receive a Master of Arts Human Services in Enhanced Professional is Clara LeBeau. Once you get your diplomas, you go ahead and be seated to relax, because you're going to stand for a long time afterwards. Also receiving a Master of Arts in Human Services, and MA is Enhanced Professional as Dwayne Stedstrom Sr. Dwayne. Yeah, Dwayne, whoa. Or like they say in some circles, woot woot. The first time he graduated here with a degree, he ran across the stage. Now we go to Bachelor of Arts, BA degree, Arts and Sciences, Liberal Arts, is Jenna Gray. Jenna Gray. Remember to stop there. Dwayne, right there, right there. You can take your picture. Smile. Now we go into business education. Business education, business management, and travel management, Summer Lunderman. Summer Lunderman. Okay, thank you for applause. Next one is business education management, accounting minor at Lorraine Nez. Our next honoree here, graduate of business management accounting minor, is Ruth Wright. Said she's been attending classes for only a few years, quite a few, but she finally got this level. So let's give her an extra round of applause here. That's what you call perseverance. Can I hear a Lee Lee out there? Now we go to business education, or affiliated with the Yankton Sioux Reservation, Ihanktua Community College, Business Management, Tribal Management is Kenneth Cook. And some of them may not be here, but we'll go ahead and say their names. A bachelor, Brittany. Don't forget the pictures there now. A Bachelor of Arts in Human Services, Chemical Dependency Track, Whitney Jones. Remember to hang on to those feathers and those plumes very, very carefully, because we're going to be tying them on, but the blessing and a prayer and a song will tie them on after, before the receiving line. Oh, here comes the reason why he's been, oh no, he don't want to see you graduate, does he? He said, Daddy. Okay, that's the reason why we have a lot of adult students graduating here. They have jobs, careers, family, but they decide they want to finish their education. They do so. That's a good example there. Bachelor of Arts in Lakota Studies, Lakota Language and General is Ronald Boneshirt. Bachelor of Arts, Lakota Studies, Lakota History and Culture, Gail Spotted Tail. Gail. Now we go to Bachelor of Science degrees, and Bachelor of Science in Environmental Sciences is Erin Blackfeather. Receiving a Bachelor of Science in Arts and Science in Environmental Science, Biology concentrations, Michael Bordeaux. Receiving a Bachelor of Science in Environmental Sciences, Krista Horvath. Receiving a Bachelor of Science in Environmental Sciences is Elizabeth Massengale. Receiving a bachelor's degree in the field of education, K through 8 elementary education, early childhood education, Nancy Beard. Receiving a Bachelor of Science degree, K through 8 elementary education, special education, Tatia Jetsa. Receiving a bachelor's degree in K through 8 elementary education, K through 12 special education, Victoria Leader Charge. Vicky. I don't know how she gets her homework done. She's on Facebook all the time. But you did it. Congratulations, Vicki. Bachelor's degree in K through 8 elementary education, early childhood education, Amanda Long. Amanda. Receiving a bachelor's degree in K through 8 elementary education, early childhood education, Cynthia McGreevy Newholy. There, we got a Lee there. All right, thank you for that. Receiving a bachelor's degree, K through 8 elementary education, early childhood education, Mina Witt. She was also a sergeant in the United States Army, so she told me, don't tell anybody I was a sergeant. Okay, so I won't. You were not a sergeant. I'm just saying that. Ah, she was. A proud veteran. Let's give her another round of applause here. Receiving a bachelor's degree in education, K through 8 elementary education, Lakota Studies, is Lynette Whitehat. Lynette. A bachelor's degree in education, K through 8 elementary education, early childhood education with our affiliation with Ihaktwa Community College is Sarah Dion, and I don't know if she's here or not. Let's acknowledge her anyway. And also from Ihaktwa Community College on the Yankton Reservation, K through 8 elementary education special ed is Lynn Gage. Now we move to our Associate of Arts degree in Art Institute in Associate of Arts and Fine Arts is Megan Spotted Elk. And she's going to photobomb all of us up here. Okay, yeah. I should have. You guys smile as she's taking your picture. She's on YouTube, putting all of us on YouTube. Receiving Associate of Arts in Arts and Sciences is Lily Little Thunder. She's got a fan club out there. Receiving an Associate of Arts in Arts and Sciences is Sanchia Lunderman. And she's got a beautiful star quilt already. Receiving our arts and science through our affiliation with Lower Brule Coolwichasha Community College in Arts and Sciences, Alan Bagola. May not be here. Also, Arts and Sciences, AA degree, Stormy Defender. And also, Arts and Sciences, Lower Brule, Casey World Turner. Okay, apparently they're not here. So we'll go to Ihangtua Community College again. Associate degree in Arts and Sciences at Colton Archambault. Colton Archambault. Also from Ihangtua Community College, Melody Zephyr, Arts and Science. Ihangtua Community College, Business Education, Business Management, Derek Longcrow. Derek, and he's here. Associate of Arts, Business Education, Business Management, Ricky Spottertail. Associate of Arts in Business Education, Ihangtua Community College, Business Management is Justin Canoyer. And Justin works as a special events manager at the casino, so I know he's not here on a Friday. Associate of Arts in Business Management, Ihangtua Community College is Jordan Drapo. She's probably over at the powwow dancing already, so let's give them a round of applause there. Also from Ihangtua Community College, Associate of Arts in Education, Elementary Education, Titwa Kawi. Okay, all right, that's a good one there. Titruwia Kawi, all right. It doesn't have the orthographics on it, so I can't say it right. But she's here. Let's give her a big round of applause. Associate of Arts, Elementary Education, Eileen, makes room for that. Eileen! Oh, she's got a fan club right over here. Associate of Arts in Education, Elementary Education, Candace Metcalf. Yes. Associate of Arts in Elementary Education is Marla Stefan. Marla. Now we go into the Human Services field. Associate of Arts, Human Services, Melissa Gabriel. Associate of Arts in Human Services, Tori Standing Cloud. Associate of Arts in Human Services, Vanessa Sully, and accepting for her will be Stephanie Gunhammer. One more time there. Okay, Associate of Arts, Human Services from Ihangtwa Community College, Yankton Sioux is Human Services, Victoria Holiday. Now we go to Lakota Studies, Associate of Arts in Lakota History and Culture is Cassandra Artichoker. Cassandra. Associate of Arts in Lakota Studies, Lakota History and Culture is Jacqueline Paget. All right, there we go. Associate degree, Associate of Science, Biological Sciences, Karen Moore. Associate of Arts and Science, Biological Sciences at Bobby Reynolds. Now we go to Associate of Applied Sciences, Institute of Technologies as Administrative Assistant Studies is Kira Marshall. Associate of Applied Sciences and Licensed Practical Nursing, Ramy Sharp. Yay! Don't check my BMI, okay? Thank you. You might say I'm obese. BMI means body mass index. I have the body of a god, though. Unfortunately, the god is Buddha. Okay, 1-year certificate, Institute of Technologies in the field of accounting is Phoebe Amiot. One-year certificate, Institute of Technologies in Building Trades is Kevin Blackbowl. One-year certificate, Institute of Technologies, Office Technology, Ernestine Claremont. She must be at work. One-year certificate, Licensed Practical Nursing, Lane Neal. Laney. One-year certificate, Institute of Technologies in the field of building trades and electrical apprenticeship is Kevin Smastice. And as soon as we get Lainey back to her chair, I'm going to ask you all to stand. We'll acknowledge you with a huge round of applause, and we'll continue with honorary degrees and our agenda, okay? So everybody get ready to clap your hands here. Oh, we got to do our GEDs too. Okay, all right. Let's give Lainey another round of applause, sir. Thank you. Now for our GED graduates here. Jim Marshall is our director. Okay, GED graduates is something Sinteglesk University instituted way back in the beginnings as a part of all of our education philosophy to provide something for everyone. As President Bordeaux has said many times, there's many different reasons why some of our students decide to leave high school or middle school and start families, careers, whatever, or military service. And so Sinteglesk provides an opportunity to provide their general equivalency testing and get them a degree to move on. So our graduate this year, first of all, is Shayna Y. Alcorn. This is very important to them too, because a lot of our AE degrees, bachelor's degrees, master's degrees have gone through the GED process and succeeded and continue succeeding too. The next one is Ryan Burnett, GED. Our next one is Hannah Dostal. Hannah. Carly Drapo. Not all of them will be here, but we'll go through the name. Kate Eaglestar. Kate Eaglestar. Gabriel Girathian. Tucker Johnson. Kristen Lapointe. Christy Ann Nelson. Jonathan Olson. Cody Redist. Noah Rinker. Cody. Emily Mashik, all right. Noah Ricker. Remember to stop there for your picture there. Antoinette Steed. Yvette Yellowbird. Last but not least is Caroline Zephyr. Any words, Jim? Okay, Jim is a man of very few words. So, all of you graduates, I'd like to have you all stand at this time. We'll give you all a huge round of applause and get ready for our... There we go. Okay, I'll turn it over to President Bordeaux. You got one more honorary degree to present at this time, so. Okay, thank you. Be seated. When we get done with this, we'll have all of you line up here and we'll have a honor song. We'll tie on your feathers. We have a song for the tying on of the feather and the plume. And then we'll have a blessing and an honor song.
We're honored to give another one of our cultural honorary degrees to John Echohawk for his many years of service, heading up an organization that is pretty much the legal arm of Indian country. John's done a lot. He comes from a family of lawyers. I've known him for many, many years, and he's been named as one of the nation's top 100 most influential people in his country. We're very honored to have him today and to give him an honor of an honorary cultural doctorate degree from Sintegleskautube University. John?
John, if you'd like to say a few words, microphone's open for you. Okay, we got Sammy is going to be reading a poem, but before that, Russell would like to introduce our royalty here, Jaquela. So Russell, go ahead and share a few words there. He wants to introduce you, Jaquela.
We're really fortunate to have our beautiful women among us and running and representing our Sintegleskautube University as royalty, as princes. I really want to recognize Michaela Hesse, so I want her to say a few words.
Proud of you. Thank you. Mitakiapi, Chante Washtenape, Chiuzapi, Jaquela Hesse, Machiapi Shto. I just want to say congratulations to all the graduates. You guys really worked for it, and I'm proud of you guys. Thank you.
She used to come dancing in our grand entries at Founders Day Powers, a little tiny tot. Now look at her. She's one of our royalty here. So thank you. All right, one more. We have a literary genius in our presence here. Sammy has written a special poem in honor of the class of 2016. So this is for you. So Sammy, please come up and take care of this for us, okay? Poet in residence, all right, is what I should say, okay.
I recently received my MFA from the Institute of American Indian Arts, and been trying to live up to being a poet since then. This is a poem I wrote for the graduates. It's called Four Virtues. Wawachitanka, fortitude. Maybe the FBI is stalking me. I wallpaper my Facebook page, hashtag no Dakota access pipeline for weeks until my phone blinks to blue screen. Long pause between page loading and page appearing, camera winking open-eyed at our students' excited faces in North Dakota, Hunkpapa territory, fighting for free wind, clean water, or whatever needs fighting for. This is tribal nation building. Wohitika, bravery. The AIM song sung with 4,000 voices, swelling upward on northern skies, red flames alighting on 4,000 faces. Ian Wakan Agape Oti, Sacred Stone Camp, a one-voice wail. Koya radio captures this spirit, Lili trills filling virtual space on 10,000 Facebook pages. Today's soundtrack gone viral. Woksape, wisdom. I give my students credit for knowing with their bone marrow, earth relatives, water relatives, wind relatives, fire, filling their heads, their hearts, bodies, enduring in tribute to this knowing. Stories their grandchildren will hear, they wear smiles, rejecting black blood from our grandmother's veins. They are already legendary, hero stories. Wachantoganaka, generosity. You began your quest with us here. Your vision, your future tied up with ours, your education, your diplomas, your feather, what you give to our oyate, yourselves. Won'unshpe kile wawashake. Won'unshpe kile wawashake. Won'unshpe kile wawashake. Won'unshpe kile wawashake. Education is power. I name you with a new name for your journey, graduates. Thank you.
Sammy just graduated with a master's degree from Indian Arts of Indian Association of Indian Arts is IAIA. So let's give her another round of applause here. Full-time working and doing it at the same time. So thank you, Sammy. We also have a presentation. So I'm looking for Sharon or Angel Claremont this time. If you're here, Sharon or Angel Claremont. In the meantime, I'd like to call up Dara Ayat to make an introduction here at this time. So Sharon or Angel, if you're here, please come up here.
Mitakiapi, lemia chokata upi wi machapi. Matoluzaha oyanke emataha. My name is, they brought her in the center woman. I'm from Swiftburg community. I am also a proud 2014 graduate of sintegleskautube University. Congratulations to you all. This is a big moment in your life. You can only go forward in this. And I'm very proud to be a Sichangu. I'm very proud to be a graduate of this university and to forge relationships with other nations. I'm privileged to have been a City Fund Scholar while I was here, and I won a few prestigious awards for my brains. And through that, I was able to build relationships that have now run abroad. And I want to introduce you to a good friend of mine. He is from the Maori Oyate from New Zealand. And it's very awesome because he has just graduated Harvard Law, and he is educated in international law, which deals with our treaties and the United Nations. So I would just like to introduce you guys to Mr. Kingi Snaugar.
Kia ora tātou raro te tūnui o tēnei whare. He mihi nei mai aku nei iwi, hiuri tēnei no Ngāpuhi Nui tonu. Kua tai mai nei, raro te karanga o tēnei rā. Thank you, Dara. This is very, I was saying this is very Māori, just to say, you might need to go up and say a few words. So yeah, I'm very honored to be here and amongst you and to celebrate your graduation. As a visitor and as an Indigenous person, it's truly humbling and privileging to see this celebration. And I'm here as a Māori person to learn from your people about tribal sovereignty and tribal government. So thank you for having me, and thank you, Dara. Kia ora.
I don't know if it's appropriate, and I was going to ask him to do that Maori warriors dance. They call it the haka. I was going to do that, but it might scare all of our non-Indian friends here. So it's really something they do. It really shows the warrior spirit, and I really like to watch it. So we had a few years ago, we had some here that performed right out here with no shoes, bare feet, like they do in the island culture, and they scared the dickens out of everybody that was here. So it's a good thing they weren't here when Custer was around here, they said. I'm just kidding here, so don't take offense here. I'm just joking. But at this time, we have a presentation. A few years back, we had a Sichango Lakota that worked at United Tribe Technical College for many years, and he was instrumental in part of the Indian nation up there, that princess. Up there, that princess that you said. He was always involved with the powwow up there, the art shows that they had at the Civic Center, and he passed away. So that year, Dr. David Gipp came down here as a part of one of our speakers, and he pledged a scholarship every year, a $1,000 scholarship that we presented to a student in memory of Jesse Claremont. Jesse Claremont, his roots here on Rosebud Reservation. He's one of our Lakota boys. So this year, they decided to award the scholarship according to the criteria that was established when it was pledged. And this year, they're going to present this to Cassandra Artichoker. I was looking for Sandra or Angel to be here, or Sharon and Angel, but apparently they're off to the powwow. So let's give Cassandra a round of applause as she's receiving the Jesse Claremont Memorial Scholarship, $1,000. Very good, very good. Okay, all right, there's the proud mom, proud dad. Somebody must have heard the rumor that that I won a lottery and I have buttons made of gold. One of you handshakers tried to steal one of my buttons, but I found it. I'm just kidding, it's not made of gold. So at this time, I'm going to ask all the graduates to go ahead and come up here with your sponsors that'll tie on your feather or your plume. Francis, we're going to call upon you, Francis Cutt from Lakota Studies Department, to do the blessing. We'll have you come all stand in front here, all of you. All of you line up in front of the stage, and your sponsor behind you, and we'll have a song to bless the feathers and the plumes. So all of you come up here. Come up here in front of the stage. Your graduates, come up here. Don't tie them on yet. Graduates line up and the sponsors get behind them, okay? Lecha, he knows your po. Line up in front of the stage. And then after we're done with this, during the honor song, you can come and go right in front of the stage. Okay, everybody, all of one taking pictures, back up, please, back up. Just the graduates should be lined up, and don't tie them on yet, not yet. We have to have a blessing prayer, and then we'll have a song to tie the feathers on, and the plumes. Sponsors behind the graduates. All the graduates. And then after that's done, just stay where you are. The rest of us will come through and congratulate you. And some of them have congratulatory cards that have $100 bills in them. So just stay right there. Be patient. Oha, Francis, wanna let ya. Francis cut from the Lakota studies to do the blessing of the feather. And so let's follow his lead here. Okay, let's all pray for a good thing for our graduates, okay?
Oha, ai. We are kaya. You have watched ke emership on kha. Then we are kaki. You have sculptures. Then water ke one bali apicha. Oetaha on kichu penetaha on ilago yan pikta chunk upelam. Otea watche ke waji wakaring kitalam. Ja hoidettava. Ja koskalanka vit koskalanka ja ajava tuli stampi. Ja tähän uijakaanitsupelo. Ojakkaan vaan paljon ajateki. Usi chakilanko. Ja hoidetsia pelo. Ochanke apetukele. Etchetukele. On ja vuosia takia kotasella. Vaan paljon ajatena kampikele naa hituampina. Koskalanka koskalanka usi Ojuksnaas pestelin, tivahet haapikelen ja antin osvitsalla pikkelo ja pepeikele ojukset ja kompasella. No nyt
To the east.
Oja vaan paljon ajantoina kaapisia hitaan. Ona pety johilla ja aatelena osvitsalla. Jokis chapina to headset this new chapika na pale ha. Otua het chapika on chapika o headset chapina vastek na kokante ka yuha yapik te headset chawachni ahina.
To the south.
Nai toka hatakia kansela. On shukela po apeto yohela. Taku headset faisnika onsta echela keapi. Ona petu tele vonspeglu stampomkhan. On livia kantele jaasta. Oto haama petu si joki apka. Ohe vaksiampi naksekiapiktelo. Oja hoitsi siellä.
Back to the center. Raise your feathers to grandfather sky.
On kanta oja piki heilit haapela. Taku kaakina kapina soja na kapelo. Wampeli ajat. Oyun kalena because Koskala ke awang chakayo, ohechet kokanta ke wichasha na wiana ka ihoni bikalo, chinchapi o ea hoya chichelo, oya hechet ampet awachana.
Now we face the grandmother earth,
Oya ujima
upon whom we walk.
ampet yobila, oh, el oyapina, oh hoichakilo. Namakaka umpikele kakukon, enasoleaya, ampeto ihankun pitron, pelemeria unchaita, ampeto kelel amanya kako, o ambilivia kakiyonsa, leche ampeto kele kompasila hoye chicha pichanke unshon lapo, ho midaka yasi.
And now we have a song to tie the feathers and the plumes on. Say some words of encouragement, reinforcement of the graduation ceremony for the graduate today. Give them a handshake and a hug as you tie their feathers and plumes on. Congratulate them in this way. Let them wear this feather and this plume in a respectful manner as a symbol of their accomplishments. Never let it touch the ground. Never let your feather or plume touch the ground. Always wear it with great respect. Take this feather, take this plume. It is sacred with the blessings of a plate. Wear it according. All you graduates, just stay where you are now. Just stay where you are, graduates. After this song, we'll have a prayer for the meal. Then we'll have your congratulatory song. So stay where you are. Okay, all you graduates, stay right where you are. Now we'll start the receiving line. We'll have a blessing of the meal first. Francis, we'll have a blessing of the meal. When we get done congratulating our graduates, you're all welcome to come to the Commons. We have a beautiful meal served for you. We have baked, fried, and roasted chicken. Graduates, stay here, please. Graduates, stay in line here, please. Let's have a blessing of the food this time. Graduates, don't run away. Stay right here. We got to congratulate you yet. We'll check you.
First of all, I'd just like to congratulate the graduates, the family, their friends, and also Sintegleska University for graduating from this college or university. We'll check it. Akean Petoa was still Kihiapi. Na El Trecha, which Hoshkalakana, which Hasha, Wea. Lena ea wons pewa sintegleskautube wan kati taha ekohani ponkan tronkashla hena unsu chakela kelo trokanta ke mane pikelel ho niet ke hoya pe hata taku astek hena ukihi chanktelo ea hoya walo trokahe ho ampetu kelel hoya voite wa unkichu pikton kha uyechilo aste pike hechel unkichu pike he und gaan championari pikelena iwash akinktelo ho het trokata kia taku koki hipinu kiuksampilena yushkia zania wichozane autachti hole oayawa makatia glustampikilena hoyatiwa hekel wichi el onkichiayo ea hoyechichielo ho wana revoite kelikikchupina oshakila po ho mitako yasi.
All the graduates, get closer together here, so. Russell, Phil, you guys want to come down to the Lionel? Go ahead and start. Now our honor song here will congratulate our graduates. We'll start on this side, on the east side, and go around here. All of you, shake hands with our graduates, congratulate them, take pictures, whatever you want to do. You've been on a very size up, okay. Remember to eat with us. We have a beautiful meal prepared for you in the commons area. Remember, we have a meal for you in the commons area. Thank you to Rock and Gay Singer. Thank you, Red Leaf Singer. It's a beautiful event, and it's time to celebrate. We want you to celebrate with a meal in honor of the class of 2016. We had a beautiful, delicious meal served for you in the commons area. So just go out in there. We got tables and chairs set up in there for your use. Yoni hakewuta po, yoni hakewuri chufchaya buuta po. Have something to eat.
Yeah. That feeling, yeah. Ah.
Uncle Leonard.
Oh,